Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to actually get better in the off season. The off season should be one of your favorite times as an athlete because it's a time of year when you're not focused on, practice, you're not focused on games, and it's a time of year when you can make tremendous strides forward in your career and get closer to your ultimate baseball goals and dreams, right? And so every player, as soon as the off season comes around, they start talking about, this is going to be my time. This is going to be the off season that I grind. I'm going to be a transformed player when next season comes around. And what happens usually is most players just take that time off, and unfortunately most of the time the only thing that changes is the seasons themselves. So if you're playing spring baseball and all of a sudden that ends, initially players think about, I'm going to really grind this off season, and then the only thing that changes is it becomes summer, and then it becomes fall and winter, and then all of a sudden it's spring again and they're the exact same player. And so obviously we want to avoid that, and in today's video we're going to talk about some tips that you can use to maximize your off season. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. All right, so let's jump right into it. The very first thing that you have to do to maximize your off season is rest. Now, specifically, I'm talking about if you were busy playing a fall sport. So if you were playing football, if you were playing soccer, if you were doing something else, then what you want to do as soon as that season ends is you want to take a little bit of time off and let your body rest and recover. We don't just want to jump into training when our body's depleted and then just all of a sudden be grinding all the way up until spring season, and then opening day we're burnt out. That would pretty much be the opposite of what we're trying to do. We're trying to maximize our off season, right? So if you are busy with a fall sport, you need to take some time off. I recommend listening to your body, all right? Listen to your body. If you think it's a week that you need to take off or 2 weeks, try to have active rest. Don't just be sitting on the couch drinking soda and playing video games the entire time. Try to move around a little bit, walk around, but take some time to rest. Now, if you didn't play a fall sport, if you've just been basically chilling all summer, all fall, then now is the time to move on to step 2. All right, and then number 2, the next thing we're gonna do to maximize our off season is actually 2 things, and you can do this while you're resting. The first thing is a self-evaluation, and then the next thing is a coach evaluation, all right? So let's talk about the self-evaluation. This is gonna put you so much further ahead of your competition because nobody is doing this, okay? But what I want you to do is go somewhere quiet, not you and your dad or you and your brother or you and your friend or teammates or anything like that, just you, your thoughts, a pen and a piece of paper. And I want you to divide that piece of paper in half, and what I want you to do is write down on the left side your strengths and on the right side your weaknesses, all right? And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself with this. You're not turning this in, nobody's gonna see this, but it's important because this is what we're gonna base our training off of for the off season, all right? So be honest with yourself. Hey, a strength is I'm the fastest kid on the team. Maybe a weakness is I have a strong arm, but I'm not very accurate with that strong arm. I really struggle hitting the outside pitch, right? I really struggle hitting breaking balls. So that's the first piece, is your self-evaluation. Now after your self-evaluation, you want to go to a coach that you trust, all right? And this coach, this is someone who is not gonna just blow steam at you and tell you what you want to hear. This is gonna be a coach that's honest with you about your strengths and weaknesses. So just go to them, ask them, hey coach, I'm really trying to make some progress this off season. I want you to write down just a few of my strengths and weaknesses. Be brutally honest, that way I know what to work on in the off season. And then what you do is you compare your own list and that list that you got from your coach, and you really want to pay attention to the overlapping themes, all right? So if your coach says, yeah, you really struggle with the outside pitch, you really struggle with hitting curveballs, then hey, those are pretty obvious 2 things that you really need to work on. Not that we're not going to work on the other things, but we really want to focus on those overlapping items. All right, so now we've rested our bodies, right? We've got our self-evaluation, we've got our coach evaluation. So now we know what we're gonna actually work on in the off season. Now let's move on to the third item that we're gonna focus on in the off season, and that is focusing on one specific thing each day, one thing, all right? Now again, this is gonna put you way far ahead of your competition because what does your competition usually do, right? Most players, they head to the field, right, and they just put a ball on a tee and they start doing tee work, and then they have their buddy throw them a little bit of BP, and then they play catch, and they call that a training session. And if you ask them at the end, hey, what did you work on today, what did you get better at, a lot of the times they can't even tell you. They think that they're grinding so hard, and they go post about it on social media how hard they're grinding, but the reality is they didn't really work on something specific. And so not to say that you can't focus and work on multiple things. You can hit, you can play defense, you can play catch, work on your arm strength. You can do all that in the same day, but I want you to focus on one specific highlight, if you will, all right? So for example, today my sole focus is I'm gonna work on mastering that outside pitch because I'm really struggling with that, right? So you can warm up on the tee, that works, but after you hit some inside pitches and some middle pitches, you really wanna hammer the away pitch here, all right? So focus on hitting that outside pitch on your tee work, and then soft toss, and then batting practice. Tell your coach, hey, I really am trying to work on the outside pitch today. So it's not to say that you're not showing equal love to every other area of the strike zone. It's not to say you're not playing defense or you're not playing long toss that day or doing your band exercises. You can do all that, but focus on one thing each day, because if you have 3 months until the baseball season, that's about 90 days, right? Imagine the progress you can make if you focus on getting better at one thing each day. And it doesn't have to be the same thing each day, all right? So Monday, we're working on the outside pitch. Then maybe Tuesday, we're working on our throwing accuracy. Then maybe Wednesday, we're working on hitting that curveball. But really have a sole focus of, okay, today I'm not leaving the field until I get better at this specific thing. So a lot of players, when they think about getting better in the off season, they simply think of, doing skill work. And while skill work's great, I think a lot of the times, especially younger players, spend too much time doing skill work and not enough time in the weight room getting bigger, faster, and stronger. So that's the next piece to this off-season puzzle. How to actually get better in the off-season is we're going to spend time lifting weights, getting bigger, faster, and stronger, and returning next season with an entirely new body, right? We're going to become stronger, more explosive, and really what that's going to allow us to do is that's going to allow us to throw harder, run faster, hit the ball with more power, right? A lot of players, they ask me, what are some tweaks I can make to boost my bat speed? And we actually just put out a video on this the other day, so if you haven't seen that, go check that one out. But there's so many different tweaks, little tiny things that you can do to boost your bat speed, a couple miles an hour. Or, if you're a pitcher, let's say, and you have something wrong mechanically where as you're throwing, you're leaking velocity, then there are some tweaks that we can make to boost, maybe a couple miles an hour. But if you really want to improve, and I'm talking jump light years ahead of everyone else on the field, then you have to return bigger, faster, stronger next year. How do you throw the ball harder? Well, you throw the ball by, generating as much force as possible with your body, and then you actually put that force into the baseball, and that's how you throw hard, right? It's the same with hitting. You generate all the force with your body, and the more force that you're able to generate, the more you're able to explode. Then you're able to boom, explode, and transfer that energy into the baseball, right? And so if you want to make leaps and bounds, really get better, really have an awesome season next year, I promise you, still work on your skills. That's a must. You can't just take 3 months off and not hit or throw or anything like that. You have to work on your skills, but get in the weight room multiple times every single week. Add that lean body mass. It's going to help you and correlate to more success on the baseball field. And the very last thing I want you to focus on in order to really maximize your off season and come back and have a better season next year than you did this past year is focus on your mental game. A lot of players, they really think that they're getting a lot better by just doing that skill work or just doing the weight room stuff. And a lot of players, they hear mental game and they probably turn off the video. That's the undedicated, not serious players, right? But I know you're a serious player looking to really maximize your success on the field, and the mental game is where it's at. Baseball is a thinking man's game, right? And so whatever you can do to work on your mental game, it's really gonna help you out when the spring rolls around. And so what can you do? Well, one thing is watch as much baseball as possible, right? I know it's the off season for the big leaguers right now, but watch some highlights on YouTube or try to pull up some old games. That's one way that you can really work on your mental game and think about, what are these guys trying to do? What is their goal at the plate? What is the pitcher's goal on the mound? Why are they doing this in this situation? And then the next thing you can do is just be a knowledge sponge. Absorb as much baseball information as you can. So watch YouTube videos, read articles out there online. That's another great way to get better. And then read some mental baseball books. There's a lot of great books out there on the mental game. The Mental Game of Baseball is a great one. The War of Art is another one. I really like the book Mind Gym. You can go through our Diamond Mindset training system, but baseball is a thinking man's game, and your skills, your physical skills can only take you so far. The players at the highest level of the game, they all understand that baseball is a game of chess. It's about outsmarting the man that's on the opposing team, all right? So work on your mental game. It's really gonna help you out. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And look, if you're a serious player and you're committed to taking your game to that next level, then what I want you to do is click on this card right up here and grab my free Bat Speed Boosters workout. It's a 100% free workout filled with drills that are going to take your bat speed and your power to that next level. So click on that card, grab that right now. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And last thing, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. That way you never miss a brand new video. We're coming out with new baseball videos every single week. So subscribe, join the UBT family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.